And I can't stand him.
And I can't stand him.
Can't.
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 Jean Hagen was 28 in Singin' in the Rain, which is somehow deeply distressing.
At last I can start suffering and write that symphony.
Is there a greater injustice than Jean Hagen not winning the Best Supporting Actress Oscar in 1952?
At last I can stop suffering and write that symphony.
Singin' in the Rain is one of the finest movies ever made. Certainly the finest musical. And while I could rhapsodize on its technical wizardry or set pieces, I chiefly remember it for Miss Hagen and her vocally challenged screen siren, Lena Lamont.
For heaven's sake, what's the big idea?
Much like balding gracefully or empathy, we've forgotten the definition of a supporting turn. Hagen's is the prototype. As with all buffoons, she appeals to everyone.
Make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh, make 'em laugh.
Each Christmas and Easter, when Singin' in the Rain aired on television, I wasn't captivated by the intricacies of three-strip Technicolor. But this garish, shrill-voiced clown woman who breaks your heart. In lesser hands, Lena Lamont would have been a one-dimensional villain. Not Jean Hagen. She makes the downfall of a fraudulent silent star side-splittingly funny and poignant. Her sound bites live in my head rent-free.
What's wrong with the way I talk? What's the big idea? Am I dumb or something? Well, I can't make love to a bush. Well, I make more money than Calvin Coolidge put together. People. I ain't people.
It's no coincidence that her lines are the pictures most quoted. Notwithstanding its myriad appearances on Sight and Sound's Greatest Films list, co-director Stanley Donen called Singin' in the Rain very creaky. There are about 4 good things in it, a self-effacing Donen carped. Donald O'Connor's Fit as a Fiddle,
Fit as a fiddle and ready for love.
Make 'em Laugh, Jean's Singin' in the Rain, and one hilarious sequence where they're recording sound for the first time.
You were flirting with Daze.
What's this wire doing here? It's dangerous.
But there are no characters except for Jean Hagen. Jean Shirley Verhagen was born in Chicago on August 3rd, 1923. Perhaps it was Protestant work ethic or making good on her white-collar father's frustrated opera dreams, but for 30 years she tackled radio, Broadway, and Hollywood with ambitious abandon. After coming down from Northwestern in 1945, she married actor-agent Tom Seidel
$5 for Miss Fanny Elsie.
and bore 2 children, son Eric Phillip and daughter Christine Patricia, named for Hagen's closest confidant, Patricia Neal. Like a hard-boiled Damon Runyon broad, Jean shot straight. While ushering at the Booth Theatre in 1946, she made wisecracks about the play in front of its authors. Charles MacArthur was so impressed that he immediately cast her and implored her to drop the ver from her patronymic. The following year, Jean landed a gig as Judy Holliday's understudy and later vacation replacement in Born Yesterday, the first of many comparisons between them. They went to California together, two New York hoofers adding luster to Q-Core's courtroom caper Adam's Rib. Leads Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy famously allowed crucial scenes to be shot from the perspective of Holliday's persecuted wife.
And that was the last you saw him. Till later, when I followed him up and caught him muzzling that tall job.
Hoping it would serve as Judy's unofficial screen test for the film of Born Yesterday. The gambit worked, leading Judy Holliday to reprise her role, win an Oscar, and despite her genius-level IQ and rarefied social conscience, be lumped with variations on Billy Dawn thereafter.
What do they think I am, dumb or something?
By the time Singin' in the Rain came up, written by Judy's Greenwich Village confrere Betty Comden and Adolph Green, she was too big a star to take a supporting part. Enter Jean Hagen. In many ways, Hagen's movie career was an inverse of Judy Holliday's. While Judy was typecast as the dumb blonde, Jean's best bimbos are an exception. Watch any other performance and you'll see what a deviation Lena Lamont was from her wheelhouse. True, Hollywood had no idea what to do with this angular brunette who, in reality, spoke in mellifluous tones and sang beautifully. In the sound booth scenes in Singin' in the Rain, it's actually Jean Hagen dubbing Debbie Reynolds dubbing Jean Hagen.
Nothing can keep us apart. Our love will last till the stars turn cold.
But confined to housewives and drudges and the occasional problem woman, her talents went untapped. 1950 brought a rare opportunity to flex her acting chops. The Asphalt Jungle for director John Huston. Hagen plays Doll Conovan, a simping would-be gangster's moll.
Dix, if it wouldn't be too much trouble, could I stay here a couple of days? Just a day or two.
All right, stay if you want to, but don't you go getting any ideas, doll.
Jean Hagen was never appreciated for her capabilities. If you see her in Singin' in the Rain and you see her in the Asphalt Jungle, most people didn't know it was the same person. That's pretty good work. She was extraordinary, so said Kathleen Freeman, who played Lena's diction coach in Singin' in the Rain. Donald O'Connor added, she was a consummate actress. They didn't get a ditzy blonde to play the part, they got a great actress to play the ditzy blonde. That's why that part is so dynamic and so wonderful. Doll Conovan should have unlocked opportunities. For Hagen, the doors stayed shut. There were only 2 girl roles in the Asphalt Jungle, and I obviously wasn't Marilyn Monroe.
Haven't you bothered me enough, you big banana head?
Jean started out with a bang at MGM, Patricia Neal writes.
A shimmering, glowing star in the cinema firmament.
But Hollywood left her nursing hopes of fulfillment, and when the tea dried up, she started on the bottle. Tom was a big drinker, Neil continues, and Jean kept up. It's terrible how much they drank. She became an alcoholic, but I don't think Tommy did. Seidel felt culpable when Jean left their luxurious Westwood residence for a modest flat, and then the motion picture home, in her 40s. after losing custody of the children in 1965.
All I'm trying to say is that there are lots of things that a man can do, and in society's eyes, it's all hunky-dory. A woman does the same thing. The same, mind you, and she's an outcast.
His remorse intensified when Jean was found alone and unconscious 3 years later. Emerging from the coma, Jean swore off alcohol forever. A diagnosis of throat cancer strengthened her resolve, leading her to additionally quit smoking. The Dutch Calvinist spirit dies hard. Regardless of their ongoing health battles and shared trauma, Patricia Neal was heartened to see her friend swiftly looking better than she had in years. A throwback to the old days when Hagen allowed Neal the use of the Seidels' Manhattan apartment for her rendezvous with Gary Cooper. Pat thinks Gary is going to marry her, Hagen confessed to a mutual friend 25 years prior. But he is not. Everybody in this town knows it but her, and Pat is not going to accept it. Breaking her jump to source the snake oil Laetrile in Germany, Neal and Hagen reunited in London. Jean was bubbly and bright, and so much the way I remembered her, Neal recalled, echoing her own triumphant resilience after near-fatal strokes. When her first appearance in 2 years at the 39th Academy Awards in 1967 was met with a standing ovation. When Felicity Crossland, a set designer with eyes on Pat's husband, Roald, arrived one day with gifts galore, Hagen remarked, "Isn't she overdoing it?" Her instincts were correct. The little parvenu was Felicity Dahl within a decade.
Thanks, Zelda. You're a real pal.
Here is Hagen's final performance, A Caustic Landlady in Alexander the Other Side of Dawn. It aired 3 months before her death in August 1977.
You owe me 3 weeks' rent. I gotta get it fixed up for another tenant.
Oh, no, I told you I'd pay it.
And tell me a story I haven't heard before. Look, I've been around this circus for a lot longer than you. You think I ain't been told promises? Hollywood Newcomer of the Year. Promises don't mean nothing. You don't give, you don't get.
Looking far older than her 53 years, her body ravaged by illness, her cut-glass voice a whimper, I felt doleful at this great star's decline. Yet it adds a meta-touch to what otherwise would be a forgettable TV movie. To me, this cameo is no tragic denouement, but a testament to enduring strength and character, and a reminder that time and tide wait for no man. She had a pretty miserable middle age, and it was such a sad end, Jean's daughter, Christine Patricia, eulogized, but she always had a really incredible attitude. She was such a great lady.
If we bring a little joy into your humdrum lives, it makes us feel as though our hard work ain't been in vain for nothing. Bless you all.
I always tried to give everything my best. Maybe I didn't always succeed, but I tried.